If you were like me and thought Leda's sword would be fun to use, I can gladly inform you that your assumption is correct. Leda's sword is a part of the beautiful light greatsword weapon class that is great against DLC bosses and devastating against anything in the base game. Leda drops the sword when you defeat her and her allies at the end of the DLC. Because this fight is mandatory, you'll get this weapon on every DLC clear. We have the same moveset as Milady, my favorite weapon I found on my first DLC playthrough. The weapon has a mix of swiping and piercing attacks. The light attacks are quick single hits, and the heavy attack is a double swipe. My favorite thing to do in this build is to execute an uncharged heavy, and if the attack window allows it, follow up with a light attack or another uncharged heavy. Because that quick double attack is a heavy attack, you'll deal fine poise damage. We have a somber weapon this week, and Needle Piercer comes unchangeable on it. This is a two-part Ash with great range and a plethora of projectiles. Pressing the Ash of War button has your character slam their sword down, summoning golden needles by your target. The golden needles will appear close to your target as long as you're not at long range. This Ash is great for keeping poise down at range and finishing off some enemies at a distance. Do keep in mind, however, that this Ash resets status effects when it hits. This can be fun in a PvP scenario, but is not as useful for PvE. Don't be like me and waste some consumables after inflicting rot on your enemy, only to reset it with Needle Piercer. The damage for this Ash, unlike what I thought before the run, is not pure holy damage. It seems to be similar to the damage of the weapon itself, being mostly physical and some holy. I started the run with a faith-focused build that used spells and holy damage. Thing is, this weapon scales better with dexterity. A holy and incantation focused run is viable, but if you want to focus on weapon damage for the wonderful light greatsword, I suggest sticking to Golden Vow and leveling dexterity on this run. The focus of this playstyle is successive attack power. The heavy attack starts the attack power boost, since it hits twice, and light greatswords gain that boost after 2 hits. Use that uncharged heavy attack as often as possible. 3 separate boosts will increase our successive attack power. When you get a poise break, you can either keep attacking to get more attack power, or take the critical to reset the tempo of the fight. Be sure to let me know in the comments what your favorite light greatsword is. I had fun using Leda's sword, but Milady being infusible makes it a better pick for me. I still need to use Rolana's light greatswords, so be sure to like and subscribe to stay tuned for that playthrough. For talismans, I used the Rotten Wing Sword insignia to boost successive attack power, Millicent's prosthesis for the same boost, and 5 additional points in dexterity, the two-handed sword talisman to boost the attack power of our moveset, and the Shard of Alexander to increase the damage dealt by Needle Piercer. The main tier we need to use is the Thorny Crack tier. This gives us a 3rd boost to our successive attack power. You can always use the Opaline Hard tier or the Bloodsucking Crack tier to enhance your defense or offense respectively. I used the Holy Shroud and Crack tier when this was a faith build. When I swapped into a dexterity build, much more of my damage was physical and this tier was not as useful. Our stats at RL 170 are 60 Vigor, 24 Mind for Golden Vow and the Ash of War, 35 Endurance to attack consecutively, 75 Dexterity, since this is our main damage scaling stat, and Millicent's Prosthesis brings us to the soft cap of 80, and 25 Faith for Golden Vow. I hope weapons in future From Software titles have the engaging moveset that all 3 light greatswords have. Leda's sword is a great dexterity weapon, with a unique ranged Ash of War, and would also be viable on a faith build. Since I didn't get the chance to say anything about it last week, I am hyped for Night Rain. Co-op survival sounds a lot like the formula of Remnant 2, a game I have over 250 hours in, and I can't wait to see From's take on a different genre.